It's a normal day at middle school where Ganta Igarashi is talking to his crush Mimi about the class trip to a prison theme park. It's already weird. Ganta hears a song and looks out the window to see someone in a red coat floating outside. They're on the 3rd floor. Soon everyone in the class notices this stranger, and that's when they attack. The class is slaughtered, but somehow Ganta survived only to wake up to see the attacker holding Mimi's head, before jamming some kind of red crystal into his chest. He wakes up in a hospital bed and is immediately arrested and accused of the attack. He gets railroaded and convicted, sentenced to capital punishment. Someone fabricated videos of him admitting to planning it. To us, this stinks of a massive setup, and even his lawyer is in on it. But why? Elsewhere, a weirdo is sitting on top of a tower, singing before she notices that Ganta has arrived at the prison theme park. This is Deadman Wonderland. Prisoners and employees are no different in this privately ran prison. During the prisoner intake, another inmate runs into Ganta with a cart. He tries to steal something from Ganta, but the warden warns him to return it or she'll unsub him, which she does. This is not a kid's show. Also, why is she meeting with Ganta's fake lawyer? In the workyard, the weirdo shows up and offers to unsub Ganta. She refers to herself in the 3rd person and her name is Shiro. Some of the other scum start heckling him. Shiro beats one of them before getting taken out with a shovel. Then they all start to party stomp Ganta while the fake lawyer soliloquies in his office about how Ganta is extremely fortunate to have witnessed the red man whom he calls the wretched egg and survive. An explosion interrupts the beating as part of the tower overhead comes down on all of them. Ganta manifests his new power for the first time, destroying the debris with his blood. Elsewhere, a prisoner has taken another hostage and is demanding candy. His caller's timer hits 0 and he's unsubbed while we get a hint of why the candy is important. Set in the year 2023, a new intro lays out basic setting info, calling the prison a Colosseum-style penal colony. A security camera catches the moment Ganta uses his power and the warden finds it. She's also highly suspicious of the fake lawyer. Ganta sits in his cell before getting patched up by the medic and finding out he's missing the candy he should have gotten on intake. The other guy stole it, and he's currently laying in the med bay. They talk before Shiro shows up from an air vent wanting to play. This brings more world building for the prison and a prompt to enter the dog race. The thief also enters the race and introduces himself as Yo Takami. A total asshole shows up and starts being an asshole. Then Shiro shows up, and right as the asshole was about to make a move, the warden steps in. Fake lawyer is excited to see Ganta at the starting line and turns up the meat grinder for it. Wouldn't surprise me if Squid Game was inspired by the series, but instead of condemned, they used debtors. The race starts with Sen's Fortress, and it only gets worse from there. But somehow, Ganta stumbles his way through, while Shiro is having the time of her life. Ganta finally snaps at the asshole but chooses Shiro over the ball, so he misses out on the money, but he's alive, for now, and resigns to his fate. But fate is a fickle thing. He's trying to write a letter to Mimi's father when he learns that his cellmate is Takami, who also returns the candy he stole day 1. Turns out Takami is also working for the fake lawyer, who is the director of the prison. Then finally more world building as things go wrong and the wretched egg is on the move again. It shows up in the courtyard and attacks. Ganta finally uses his power again, turning his blood into a projectile aimed at the egg. It hits but doesn't seem to have done anything as the egg leaves. Waking up in the medbay with Shiro, he tries to piece together what's been happening, with hints that Ganta isn't the only one in the prison with this kind of power. Meanwhile, the warden is also trying to piece together what she knows. Then the prison goes into lockdown while Ganta is trying to get to a cell block that isn't listed, but Shiro knows the way. A crowd control bot shows up with instructions to unsub everyone, even following them as they escape into a vent, but the thief knows what to take to turn it off. The bot manages to reboot and follows them to the aforementioned cell block, Block G. This is how the warden finds out there's a part of the prison she doesn't even know about, let alone has any authority over. It looks like the bot is going to blast Shiro when another guy who uses blood shows up to wreck the clanker. This is what it was all for. Superpowered underground cage fights. By the authors Kazuma Kondo and Jinsei Kataoka, the manga published from April 2007 to July 2013. totaling 58 chapters in 13 volumes, with the anime from April to July of 2011 and is 12 episodes crafted by Studio Manglobe. Established in 2002 and dissolved in 2015 due to bankruptcy, they were the studio that crafted Samurai Champloo, The World God Only Knows, Ergo Proxy, Gangsta, and Genocidal Organ. So their filmography was short, but they did banger work. This series is nutty with its base concept, bringing back literal blood sports and combining it with a theme park, then mix in supernatural and sci-fi with the wretched egg in the high-tech setting. And as far as characters go, Ganta is exactly what you'd expect from a middle schooler forced into unreasonable circumstances. He's very cowardly and has to find his spine in the moment. Shiro, on the other hand, is a wild mystery, at least for half of the story before it tries to give us answers. Her playful and childlike personality is completely out of place, as is her very appearance, which no one, not even the warden, seemed to care about. Let alone her ability to navigate the prison via the air vents like she spent 7,000 hours in The Escapist. And the warden is another thing. She's absolutely a hard-ass on the rules, but barely even acknowledges when Shiro is present. She's also very much so a hero of the story because of her rigid nature. But it remains that she never questions Shiro at all. And earlier I mentioned Squid Game, but that was kind of a throwaway comment. I wouldn't say Squid Game is outright inspired by Deadman Wonderland per se, more that it's a derivative work of the idea perhaps. Reminds me of 2.5D Seduction chapter 119 when Tsubaki asks Arya's dad if cosplay creates value, and he relates it to his manga. Quote, I suppose the question is if cosplay is derivative. Are you just borrowing from the original or are you producing something new? I asked my mentor something similar once and you know what? He said, I drew Ash's War Chronicles because I wanted to read more of the manga I liked as a child. And even that manga must have come about because of the works that preceded it. Making art has been derivative since the dawn of time. So while there are very clear similarities between Deadman Wonderland and Squid Game, they also exist between Deadman Wonderland and Takeshi's Castle. You can see a clear line of how one could inspire the next, but each is their own work to be judged on their own merits as art and entertainment. I would be doing a disservice to Deadman Wonderland and Squid Game if I didn't expound on this comparison. But what's there to say about the actual show? It's bloody, it's vulgar, it's violent, and it's highly entertaining. But the theme park prison aspect really just fades into the background once Ganta starts participating in the cage fights. That's when the greater plot and narrative really take over. Who and what is Shiro and the Wretched Egg? Why did fake lawyer work to get Ganta convicted? Is the warden really on Ganta's side or not? There's a lot to dig into, and the biggest issue is that the series is just so short. For the manga, it's just about right in size, but the anime has to cut out a lot to be able to make it through 58 chapters in just 12 episodes. You can always head to the manga if you're dissatisfied with the show once it's over, but the problem remains is that the anime is just too damn short. Everything else about it is really good though. I am the NBT. This has been The Noble Weeaboo. Like or don't, sub or don't, and thank you for watching. If you liked Squid Game, you might like Deadman Wonderland. The manga really is better than the anime, and I can see it being a series that gets a full modern reboot by a big name like JC Staff, Bones, Sunrise, or Cloverworks. Manglobe's run of it is still really good. I just wish it told the full story.